Show, Banff Show. Show, Banff Show.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Show, Banff Show. I'm here with, oh no, I already am going to mess it up. You might need to tell me again.
Matt Hominick.
Matt Hominick. And he is like hard metal artist, which is so cool. And I'm so excited to learn from you today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Banff local. So how did you get into like heavy metal? Like tell us the story. And you just released a new album a day ago or so.
Yeah, so we released our second single actually yesterday morning. So we've got two out now. The last one was the end of April. We did this one the end of May, and then we're hoping to have one sometime early July as well. But how I got into metal, good Lord, that's well, my mom is a piano teacher, firstly, so I kind of have music just in my blood, whether I want to or not. So
it's like there.
Right. When I was a kid, I had to listen to my mom, teach piano students, and typically younger piano students are one of two ways. They either really want to play or they don't practice at all, and you get to listen to someone, butcher Mary Had a Little Lamb for 8 hours. So I, steered away from that and I went the violin route. So I actually started with violin. I think it was 7 or 8, something like that. And then, we went on a family vacation, and a kid had a guitar. I was probably 12 at the time, and taught me a couple licks, and I went home. I bought a cheap acoustic guitar at a yard sale, and that was kind of it. And I think my classical influences, I guess, kind of led me towards metal. It just seemed to be that the more talented musicians were in the heavy metal bands, and that was kind of what I was drawn to. So I guess that's kind of how I got into it.
Wow, that is very cool. And that story, like, I love how when you're younger, you picked up a guitar and you just went for it. How are they like similar? Like, is it just because it's complicated, like how you play it, or is it because there's like, what makes it in your mind, do you think?
Like, honestly, like, because now I'm still a cellist, like cello and violin were kind of my first instruments, right? So like I've got a cello, 4 or 5 feet from me here, but I don't know how similar they are. I guess once you learn the spacing of the scales and your finger spacing, I guess that kind of translates. But as far as that, like a pick, using a guitar pick versus using a cello bow. I know many accomplished guitarists that pick up a cello and make it sound like a skinned cat. So it's not the easiest thing to get used to, but I guess it's one hand is playing scales, so that's your hand that would be the most relatable. But it's very different skill set, I guess.
I like the skinned cat reference. Like, you're right. Did a little bit of percussion, and you're right, just making a certain sound and that technique, like that's so much fun. The skills that you got into that, so much fun.
Well, it's you get that almost like nails on a chalkboard if you do it incorrectly. So it's
actually behind
it's really painful.
So
there you go. Yeah, it's literally painful for other people to listen to you practice, but it's worth it in the long run. So
does your girlfriend ever like give you the look like?
No, she's not the biggest metal fan, but she hasn't ever missed a show that I've ever played. She's super supportive, and I think she was more surprised by the cello when she actually heard me play it for real. She was like, oh okay. What? It was kind of like, is he bullshitting me, or is he like actually good at this instrument? So when someone tells you that they play an instrument, like when someone tells you they're proficient at something and you haven't seen it for 4 years yet, I could see that. But super supportive. She's not a metal fan by any means, but super supportive, and she's awesome.
That's incredible. And does she help you? Because you've been just releasing song after song with everything coming up. Does
Right.
she help like get in there and
No.
or, yeah.
I guess she's supportive in the way where she kind of lets me do what I want in the house, and yeah, I don't know. She's just always, if I post something, it's shared. She posts it and she shares it with all her friends, and she's stoked when her friends are into it. So, um, yeah, no, as far as the recording process or anything like that, no, not really involved. I've asked her if she wanted to do guest vocals on some stuff, some background vocals, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Maybe. If not, no pressure.
Yeah,
That is
exactly. Yeah. I've
yeah,
got
no
enough. I've got enough on my plate. I can keep it going.
yes. And what inspires you to write like all this music? Like what's your biggest inspiration?
Ooh,
Or for your latest song even?
geez, I don't know. Like most of the material, because I played in a local band for the past 4 years, we had our own material, and obviously, um, I just had riffs and song ideas around that was not something that would fit with the band I was playing with, but I still kept around. So when COVID hit, I kind of had, all these songs that were half done sitting around. I was like, it is the perfect time to get this done and get it out. So I kind of started putting stuff together. And originally, it was supposed to be a solo project. It was supposed to be just my material, me doing all of the instruments. I was originally going to do the vocals as well, but when I got in the vocal booth, I realized really quick that that wasn't necessarily my forte. And for something that's so upfront, I called in a good buddy for some help. And then it got to be where, hey, maybe we should start thinking about a drummer. So now we got a drummer, and it's turned into, it's gone from a solo project in the spring to we need a full band by the fall. So
Wow. And does your band have a name?
yeah, so Suspended Glaciers.
I love it. That's so much
Yeah.
fun. Are you like now that like COVID's starting to lighten up and stuff, have you been performing and getting out there?
No, like I said, this is all material that I had previously recorded on my own. So we're just in the process. Like I said, we just got our drummer involved about a month ago. So our next release, not the one that came out yesterday, but our next release will have our new drummer on it as well. And then yeah, we'll be looking for a bassist and a guitarist to fill out the lineup so that yeah, when stuff opens up this summer, we can start playing some shows.
That's incredible. And I'm gonna drag my brother-in-law and be like, hey, we have to see these guys live. Like that is so cool.
Oh, for sure, it's a good time. Even the last band I played in, it was Banff has a different feel, I guess, to the metal scene because it's really, really small. There's not a lot of people into metal, but it's really cool to see all your buddies come out and support you and throw down and drink a couple beers and jump around in the pit. Like it's a good time. Yeah, it's a really good time, and it's like it's metal's one of those really weird genres where it seems aggressive, but anybody who's been to a metal show can tell you the first 3 seconds you hit the ground, you've got someone picking you up. So
Oh,
it's
that's
pretty cool.
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty tight knit, right? So
That is so cool. And I love how during COVID, you used that time to like develop and like find people to help you out. And like, was any of this stressful or what do you do with your mental health during that time? Was there anything that like made everything better?
um, I honestly think that just focusing my time and having something to, I mean, every musician uses their music as an outlet. As far as mental health goes, most musicians have some sort of message, I guess, they're trying to convey through a song, whether they want you to believe it or not. It's just kind of how it is. It's an emotional industry to be in, right? So I think during COVID, once everything really locked down and we kind of, you weren't allowed to go to band practice, you weren't allowed to have shows, which is something that, our scene is pretty big on. It's, you go to a show, you see everybody, you see a couple bands, you have a couple beers, you have a good night, you go home. So for that to kind of get stripped away was a little bit rough. So I think all of us kind of just had to find a way to shift gears and use, that drive to, instead of going play, you know, 4 or 5 live shows this month, maybe you guys work on a 4 or 5 song EP this month, or, maybe you get some material together and you start doing that shit you said you were going to do 2 years ago. So, it's like the Regal Fowl guys that you had on the show, they same
Yeah.
thing. They had a wicked year lined up. Actually, my old bassist from my old band, he does a pretty good promotion company in town, and yeah, he had them a few wicked shows lined up, and shit hit the fan. Switch gears and keep that momentum going to something else. So yeah, it's been nice to kind of just focus in and have something to, just go in the office, shut the door, work on something, clear your head, get back to normal, and yeah.
That's incredible. And I love your process. And Regal Fowl is actually the ones who nominated you to come on the show. So that's
Oh
so cool.
no.
You guys sound so close. Have you guys ever played together? Or you've probably
Oh,
gone to
for
support
sure.
each other?
For sure. So those guys, we have actually, geez, how many shows have we played with them? I think, well, you know what? I don't think I played as many as I thought. I think when they were here, I think we narrowed it down. Maybe we played like 2 or 3 shows together.
Wow.
But, but like I said, the scene is pretty tight. I know we played the Canmore Music Festival together because I'm looking at the poster right now, and yeah, was that last year? 2019. Yeah, it was July 2019. They had the Canmore Music Festival there, so I think that was the last show we played together. Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking at tour posters and
That's a great idea. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so that's how I met them, just through the scene, and then I opened my home studio, and they kind of were my first, I guess, real project. So yeah, it was good. It was awesome. Those guys are wicked guys. They know what they're doing. They know what they want, and they kind of let me have full control on it. They're just like, you know what?
Just
We don't know. We kind of don't really know what we're doing, and you kind of know what you're doing. So let's just, if you say it goes, it goes. And yeah, it worked out really good. I think they were here a total of, geez, it would have been close to 20 days by the time we got done everything on the album. And it was weird because it was during COVID, so we could only really have one person here in the studio on an appointment basis, right? So it was interesting. Like we had to book time, like one guitarist come in, lay guitar tracks, and the bassist come in, lay bass tracks on his own. Where usually you'd have the whole band here, just ripping you apart. Like you totally mangled that bass part. Do it again. So it was a little more, I guess, straightforward, but it turned out really awesome. I'm super proud of it, and I hope those guys are too. But
wow, they seem so proud of it. And they said your expertise really helped them in that one interview. Like it was incredible. Like the teamwork you guys did. I love your collaboration.
and yeah, they're just hilarious dudes, right? So when they're in the studio, it's always a good time, and like even when it feels grindy, like you're sitting there playing the same guitar part for half an hour, it's still funny and it's still hilarious, and the guys still crack you up. I think our
Mickey Mouse.
famous I think our famous line during the whole recording process was, "You heard that?"
You're
Because every time someone would make like a slight mistake, yeah, you just stop the recording, and that's retract, try it again, do the take again. And every time someone would say, "Oh, you heard that, did you?" Like they thought they were gonna sneak like a little like squeak by me.
trying
So
to do there. It's just like, oh, you heard that.
they're like, "Oh, you heard that, eh?" Like, yeah, I know. And I'm sure I do it. I do it to myself too when I record my own stuff. It's the same thing. I'm like, oh come on, man, you can do it. Like, what are you doing? Like,
It's just
you
like,
wrote
come
this
on,
guitar.
come
You wrote this guitar riff. It can't be that hard.
on. In concert, like when you like mess it up, it must like throw you off a little, or like how do you, or you just keep going with it. Like, is it hard like in studio when you have to get perfect versus like when you're like just
Oh,
rocking out concert?
for sure. Studio versus jam with your buddies or play a live show is completely different because even from like my classical training from violin, and you do your exams and it's like you have a piece of music that you're supposed to play perfectly, but if you mess it up and you just keep playing through, someone may not notice and you may get a better score, right? So
That's
um playing in studio, yeah, is a lot more like very precise. You can't hit any extra strings. It needs to be, because you will hear everything. Whereas in a live setting, there's a full drum kit, a bass, and there's a whole crowd going. It's you can get a lot looser in a live setting or a jam setting. It's when you get into the studio, you really realize like, oh, I can't play this part as good as I thought I could. So
is incredible. I have two more questions for you. So, like, you have so much knowledge, like, in the music industry. Where'd you learn all that? Is like my first question. And then I got one more, and then I'm afraid time's up. It's just like, no, I could talk
that's okay.
forever.
That's okay. Yeah, I like to ramble, so you know how it goes.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
um, Sorry, what was the question?
So
The first
how
one.
did you like learn all these
Oh, the
skills? Like
industry.
coming to you for help. Like, where'd you learn all this?
Just a lot of being a nerd, I guess. Geez, at this point, I've been playing guitar for almost 26 years, so just
Wow.
that, and multiple bands, being in the scene for, I think the first big, like, decent sized project I got into would have been back in 2003. So,
That
I've been in a band situation for close to 20 years. And then as far as the recording stuff goes, it's a lot of what you put in is what you get out. So if you expect to just download the software and plug some stuff in and get a good result, I can tell you right now it's not going to work out. But I spent the last I spent
right
the last yeah and I spent the last 3 years just reading and researching, and every piece of information I can get on any genre, not only metal specific, but yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of work.
That's incredible. And for someone who wants to get into your industry, what advice would you give them?
Do it, just go for it. Put a little bit of cash into what you want to do, and put a little bit of work into what you want to do, and you'll get, like I said, you'll get out what you put in. You can't expect to just do it.
That's
Yeah, you
and
can't expect to just pick up a guitar and be a virtuoso tomorrow. So it's the same thing with that. It's trial and error. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of work.
that is amazing advice right there. I'm sure like so many people are going to eat that up. And for people who want to like learn more about you and stuff, where can they go or even find your music?
So all of our music is available anywhere you can stream music. It's YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, anywhere you can. If you stream music, you can find it. Suspended Glaciers. We have 2 singles out now, with our next one releasing early July. We'll keep
Wow.
everybody posted and we'll annoy you. Also, Facebook at Suspended Glaciers, and Instagram at Suspended Glaciers, for all of our behind the scenes and goofy stuff with us hanging out and doing live streams. And then the studio page as well is called Omen Studios. So you can find us on Facebook at Omen Studios as well.
And for everyone watching, I will be posting the links down below. I'll get you to send them to me, by the way, like heads up.
Will do. You got
Yeah,
it.
so you can find them down below, easy. And one thing I bugged Regal Fowl about is they said they're on every platform, so I had to test this. Pinterest, all that. How about Pinterest?
Yeah. I don't know about Pinterest, but I do know Instagram, Reels, Stories, TikTok. We're on there as well. So if you guys are
Yeah.
making an Instagram story or TikTok story, out in the mountains, put some suspended glaciers in the background, rock out. We'd love to see it. And then tag us and let us know what's going on.
That's incredible. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show today. I learned so much from you. And seriously, someday we want you back. Like, I've learned so much from you.
For sure. And when we get a show, you get VIP, okay?
Oh my gosh, yes! I would love that. Seriously.
Anytime.
Make sure to keep your eyes out for this amazing heavy metal band. And I can't wait to see them in concert. Show, Banff Show.
Show, Banff Show.
Show, Banff Show.
Show, Banff Show.
Expanding our community.